In this video, I will tell you my experience with the M1 Mac Studio Ultra after using it daily for 2 weeks. I will go through what I think is good with this machine, what I think is bad, and what issues I have encountered since I started using it, and what is just outright ugly. At the end, I will tell you if I think you should buy this one, or any studio at all for that matter. Now, I'm going to start off this video by saying I don't regret buying this, and actually I'm very glad I did. The machine and the hardware are fantastic. It fits my current needs almost perfectly and removed a bottleneck to my workflow. I needed a fast multi-core Mac machine that would allow me to run Windows in Parallels VM and for the performance to be as fast as a desktop machine. Now, I'm not talking about being as fast as a gaming rig, obviously, but fast enough that I can do the Windows dev work I need to do, and it has more than fulfilled that role. Now, I do have a fast Windows machine with an i7-9700K and a 28 Super that I built a few years ago, but it's loud, hot, power hungry, and if I can get away with doing 95% of my Windows work on the Ultra and only turning on the desktop for the occasional game, that is fantastic for me. So what is good with this machine? The CPU cores are very fast, and because the Ultra has 20 CPU cores, I can give my Windows VM 8 of them, which make that virtual machine fly. I have never had any slowdowns. Even with a VM running, I've never saw the temperature go above 42 degrees centigrade. I had the Windows VM running and playing the new Gear Club Stradale racing game that on the Mac side, and the temp stayed at about 42 degrees, and the fans never spun up from their base 1300 RPM. And speaking of the fans, I cannot hear them at all. In general, the machine runs super fast, and no matter how many apps I have running or anything I'm working on, the machine is very fast and snappy. The number of ports are just about right. I could use more personally, but honestly, I don't think there's anyone who wouldn't want more ports. So, what is bad? So, since the beginning, I have had Ethernet issues. No matter what cable I use, whether it's Cat6 or Cat5, and no matter if the connection is straight to the router or to my gigabit switch, I keep getting a cable unplugged message. And apparently I'm not the only one. There is a long Apple discussion page on this topic. Now, if I use a USB to Ethernet dongle, the connection works absolutely fine. So I know it's not the cables or the switch. Fun. On that topic, there is no Wi-Fi 6E, which is a bizarre not to have included on this machine, and that probably would have eliminated me needing to use Ethernet in the first place. Okay, so what do I find ugly with this machine? So for me, this is the unacceptable category. Final Cut Pro was just updated to take advantage of the Ultra, and guess what? I haven't seen any improvement in export times, at least for me. I have seen the UI be lag-free when working on my edit with full quality 4K footage, which is great. But when I exported a project, regardless if I did ProRes or H.264, I saw no improvements over my M1 Max MacBook. Rendering is faster, so when I add a clip or an effect, I have noticed that it is faster with no slowdowns or lost frames. But export times? Nah. I'm happy that I can now add that footage and effects and not get slowed down by rendering, but I wanted the promised faster export times as well. First of all, they knew this machine was coming, so their software should have been ready to take advantage of it. Second, they should have done away with this secrecy BS, and they should have released technical white papers months in advance to allow developers to be ready for this. Secrecy is only making them look bad, and hurting us as consumers, obviously. I don't understand why they released this when software was not ready for it. Rumor is that the next version of macOS 13 that is going to be released as a beta at WWDC will have microcode updates to take advantage of the GPU cores. So now I'm forced to update to a beta so I don't have to wait until the fall to get the full power of this machine. Apple is known for bizarre decisions, but this one tops it. Now don't get me wrong, the Ultra is fantastic, and what Apple has done from a hardware perspective is amazing. They did a 180 from what they used to do like 4 or 5 years ago. So you should only buy the Ultra if and only if you have very specific needs like I did, and I would suspect that will be a very, very small percentage of people. The GPU power is there, and I'm hoping that an update will unlock it soon, but I don't get why I have to wait and why Apple hasn't publicly addressed the issue. If you are in a situation that you can't wait and you must buy now, I highly recommend you go with a Max MacBook. You'll get the same performance as the Mac Studio, and you will have a portable device at the same time that you can easily dock as a desktop. Plus, you get that gorgeous mini LED display. Otherwise, wait until WWDC that is coming up starting on June 6th. Not sure how credible the rumors are, but supposedly there could be M2 machines announced. Not talking about the Pro, which is in a category on its own, but possibly M2 Air, MacBook, and a possibly M2 Mini. So this past year, I started using my iPad not just for consuming, but for actual productivity. And I found that using the iPad along with my Mac totally supercharges my productivity. Check out this video here to see my 5 favorite tips on how I use the iPad along with my Mac. Thanks for watching.